Oh my god, the sheeps are coming for me! They're gonna get ya! Hey folks, my name is Pravus, and welcome to Wool at the Gates, a new indie tower defense kind of base building game that is very, very similar to Thronefall. Like, extremely similar. Like, suspiciously similar. However, there are a couple extra levels of strategy to this game, which I think are going to increase the replayability and variety quite a bit, which is why we're showing it off today. That, and also the premise is just kind of funny. The sheep have gone mad and they're trying to kill you. Why? Don't ask stupid questions. They just are, and that's all you need to know. Now, this is a demo that was sent to me by the developers for the full game, which is expected to release in early 2025, so let's have some fun with it. To start, you'll notice that we are a flying eye in the sky, and we will be using this to direct our forces and construct our buildings, starting with our HQ. Defend this with your life, because if it falls, you lose the game. Now the question is, do we want to start off as an orc or as a human? I think playing as a ranged orc hero could be kind of good, so we'll go ahead and pick that up. And now we get to choose a starting perk. I think a little bit of extra gold as we construct buildings could be pretty useful for us, so let's go ahead and do that. And now you can see our little character moving around, though we can always pop back into eye form to move around a little bit faster. I'm going to start by building up a few houses, because these are going to get me some extra gold per turn. Now you can see here we can choose a faction to support, the humans or the orcs. Get enough of these points and we will be able to start getting some extra perks unlocked, kind of like we did when we unlocked the HQ. I'm actually going to go for some early human buildings, because I would like to get an early human perk. That's going to save me a lot of money in the future. I do also want to make sure we build at least one of these shrines over here, which is going to get me some spirit. That is the second currency that is in this game. You use gold to build literally everything. You use spirit in order to build things like barracks or some towers. So you need a good healthy mix of both. For now, though, I am spending literally all of my money, and we are going to move on to the end of this round. Now, the way this game is going to work is, again, very similar to Thronefall. We're going to have enemies that spawn at several different locations at varying levels of difficulty. They are going to try to get to my HQ. If they can do so and destroy it, we lose the game. So let's go ahead and plop down over here. We are going to end the round, and 15 evil diabolical sheep are going to spawn. And we will try to take a few pot shots at these guys while staying relatively safe if we can. Now, I want to try to distract these guys a little bit and get them kind of closer together if at all possible. I want them all clustered together so I can do a quick charge and some special abilities like that. Try to kill them before they get too close by. Now, the HQ does have some early game defenses. Not a lot, mind you, though, so it's a little bit risky. If we are not quick here, they're going to try to destroy my buildings, which ruins my income. So we're going to go a little bit faster here, if and you please. Come on, take another good volley like so. That's almost enough, and we are fine. The round has been survived. Every level has a certain number of rounds you need to survive. If you are able to do so, you win, you collect your score, you get your stars, and then you move on. Already things are looking a lot scarier. We've got 5 billy goats that are going to be spawning on the sides, which are ranged enemies, and then 30 little sheep. Not exactly good. We're going to need some early game defenses. The question is, where do I place them? Well, we could start in a location like over here, which we'll be able to fire off at 2 different waves coming through this little valley, so I think this is a good defensive tower location. Now, from here, you can see that there are many different kinds of towers. All of them are able to shoot at enemies, but they also have other special effects. For example, the Grave Robber gets you extra gold per round and summons some skeletons at the beginning. We could also slow down our enemies, boost up the attack speed of all nearby towers. Make it so that if enemies attack here, they are going to be taking melee damage from thorns, right? Things like that. These also are going to give us points toward our chosen faction. They're also going to give us some specializations. You may have noticed in the bottom right area that if I go for the Grave Robber, I will gain a point in mercenaries and in summoning. Go for ice, we would get mage and rogue, and so on. If we can get enough of these points, we will get some extra stacking modifiers, and you want to build accordingly. So for now, I think I'm going to go ahead and pick up that Grave Robber. I think that's going to be fine, and that's going to start spawning stuff. You can see on the left, we now have points toward Berserker, Mercenary, and Summoner. Could build another one of these towers over here if I had a bit more spirit, which I don't, but the good news is if I build a shrine real quick, we will get at least 1 more spirit immediately, so I can build up another tower right over here. Now, because we've already built a Grave Robber tower, every consecutive one gets more expensive in its spirit cost, which is why you need to have plenty of that. For now, let's go ahead and mix things up and get a skeleton tower, so we can summon up 4 skeletons. And then the rest of my money I will spend getting some additional shrines and also more housing. But that's about all of the resources that I have at my disposal. So we are going to go ahead and probably start off the wave. Let's get down over here. There are some little baby lambs that are going to come through here, and they are fortunately very weak and easy for me to kill. So I'll wait for a lot of them to spawn real quick, then we'll charge in, go ahead and hit as many as we can. Then I'm going to pop up over in this direction and try to take a few shots at some of these billy goats, because they're going to try to kill off my skeletons very, very rapidly, and I need those to survive to deal with the lambs. So here we go. Having the extra reinforcing skeletons is definitely delaying the enemy wave quite a lot. My towers are doing some damage. We should be able to survive this with no problems. There we go. Easy enough. Okay. Now, unfortunately, every time we build any towers, or if we build up any barracks, which are going to train up some troops that we can then direct, you do have to pay an upkeep cost, which is where having a lot of extra gold generation can be very, very useful. We're going to be getting attacked by some charging bulls over here in just a bit, some toros. So if we were to get ourselves, let's say, some walls and stuff to slow them down, that may not be a bad choice. Alternatively, we'll try to distract them ourselves and then just place down some extra towers, and I think that's probably the way to go. What kind of towers do we want? Let's go ahead and pick up probably the ice tower in order to slow them down. This is going to get me enough points for a human perk. At which point I'm thinking that I'm going to go for the building up perk here, which is going to make my towers and barracks cost less gold to upgrade and get me extra faction points when they have been upgraded. Alternatively, houses could explode, our hero can have extra damage and such. Also, barracks could have a powerful range attack, towers can have more range and attack speed, and so on. All of this is quite good. Actually, we don't have to go for this perk right away. It's okay not to, because I'm not going to do an upgrade immediately. Fine, let's actually instead upgrade our hero, since we are kind of the early game DPS. It may not be a bad idea at this point to go ahead and get myself our first barracks. If, of course, I had more spirit, which I do not, so I guess that's not going to happen, okay. We'll instead invest over here, since this side is currently safe, build a lumber mill. This is going to greatly increase our gold generation per turn for a while. And you can upgrade some of these buildings in order to get some extra income and increase their life, which I'm not worried about right now. We'll go ahead and move on to the next round. This one's going to hurt just a little bit because these guys are a lot faster, and they are going to try to kill me dead very quickly. But with all of our skeletons and our towers working in concert, I'm hoping we're going to end up being just fine. We should be. Yeah, there we go. This ended up being completely fine for us. Okay, good. Now we're going to get hit on two different sides over here. Lots of billy goats as well as some proper sheep. So getting walls and stuff is looking a lot more attractive all of a sudden. So we'll go ahead and build these over here. Costs a lot of gold, unfortunately, but it is what it is. And I do want to go ahead and get myself our first barracks. Now the question is, what kind of troops do we want? And again, you can see that there are a number of different types, each of which are going to contribute toward your specialization in a different way. So some sorcerers over here for the orcs, for example, extra mage and warlock points. Also, they get extra attack speed as long as they have not been attacked. And since we have walls, this should hopefully work for us, so we'll go ahead and pick that up. That also was enough points to get me another orc perk. What do we want here? We could go for my hero doing extra damage. We could have our troops do more damage and move a lot faster, or our buildings have extra health and they deal damage back when they are attacked by melee. I think I'll just go ahead and pick up Warlord. My hero does 30% more damage and gains more for every round we don't die, maxing out at 60%. That's pretty good. Now from here, we can right-click to grab these troops and then move them somewhere else. So let's say right over here behind the walls, nice and safe. And I do think I want to get myself one more tower over here. Let's go for, let's say the Thorns, since this one has a good chance of being attacked as soon as the wall falls, if it falls, which it will. Now you have seen over here in the top left, we did get at least some Berserker points. So now that we have 3, we get 40% extra damage dealt and 40% damage reduction when our units get enraged at the beginning of combat. Or maybe that's just me and not my units. Might just be me, actually. In which case, we always want to start off right in their face. So we'll go ahead and start the round. My biggest goal right now is to try and kill the range units as fast as is possible, but maybe that's not going to work for at least a little bit. If you do take too much damage, though, always just pop back into I form, position yourself a little bit, and you can regenerate your health. I think the tower should be able to finish this off. Let's go ahead and move down here. Looks like we're getting hit pretty hard on the walls, but that's okay. We will attack them from behind. They came from behind. And there we go. Round survived. No big deal. Everything repairs, and we're ready to go. Now, it looks like my sorcerers did die, unfortunately, and I'm a little confused by that because I thought that if we locate them over here and then hold down the right mouse button, that should tell them to hold position, which means I would think that they shouldn't be running through here to attack anything, and yet here they are. Maybe they need to be in a good vantage point, like up over here? That could be. Now we're going to be getting attacked by flying sheep this next turn. Don't ask me how that's possible. It just is. Knowing that, I'm not going to bother placing down a wall over here. Though I am going to build a bank, which is going to pay out nicely after 3 rounds. A little bit of a high-risk, high-reward play. And we're going to make sure we get ourselves an extra tower over here as well. We'll place down a shadow tower over here, which means if it gets attacked, it temporarily goes into the shadow realm and becomes unattackable. So it lasts a little bit longer. I'd also love to get myself another barracks. Let's upgrade a shrine so we get some immediate spirit, like so. And we'll place down one here. I want range units again. We could go for the goblin archers to get some rogue benefits, or we could go for the crossbowmen to get some mercenary benefits. Either one is really kind of okay. The mercenary bonus would loot corpses, which could be kind of nice. Rogue would get me crit chance bonuses. Or we could just go for the wizard, I suppose. A mage benefit, more splash damage. Yeah, actually, I'm kind of okay with that. That seems fine. And once again, that's all my money, so we're going to have to move on. I guess we'll start by attacking some of these dangerous dragon figures, since they're going to be the scariest ones for us to deal with. Yep, sheeps are flying now. It makes sense somehow. It's fine. Attack them, wizards! Attack them! And that should more or less deal with them. Now we get over here to deal with the sheep, which my skeletons are already engaging. So this is why I like summoning. These guys are actually pretty good. Now, if my units aren't moving, it's okay to go ahead and move over here and say, hey, go ahead and move over here, guys, attack, please. And they'll do it. And that's where I guess some of the real-time strategy kind of gets into this game, right? Relocating your troops in real time. A little bit risky, though. I like to just kind of pick one spot and then tell them just entrench. So we're going to get hit hard over here. That means we do want to get ourselves another wall this time. And we could get some more towers, but first, I'm actually going to go over here and upgrade our HQ. Doing this is going to get me a new ability. We could summon 8 skeletons and get a bonus for our summoner skill, which means that our skeletons do 25% more damage. We could go for a crippling trap to slow down some enemies, rampage, taunt, shadow step, rapid fire, all good options. I think for now, just going for the extra summon doesn't seem like a bad idea. That synergizes pretty well with what we're already doing. And maybe getting another tower wouldn't be a bad idea. I'm going to take the war horn so that all nearby towers are fighting a lot faster. And I haven't done the Wrath Tower yet, so we'll go ahead and pick one of these up since it's all I can afford. The All-Seeing Tower I'll place toward the back line. Those can shoot literally anything on the map. Now we have some crit chance bonuses. There we go. Let's get one more faction point with the orcs. The jagged structures seem pretty good. We don't have a lot of troops yet, so for now, sure. Any building that takes damage has more health and also deals a little bit back. Okay, I'm going to let this wave mostly fend for itself because hopefully they're going to be fine, and we will start off by attacking over here. I'm going to, of course, summon a bunch of skeletons and then run forward and do as much damage as we can. Now, there is a nice little recharge on the skeletons, so we should be able to use this more than once in the fight. Let's take a look over here. Okay, the sheep are actually doing a lot more damage over here than I was expecting. Just a whole bunch of little lambs. Well, Mary had a little lamb, and now they have to die. Backline with some more skeletons over there. Try to take out the ranged units as much as we can. So far, looking pretty good over here, to be honest. There we go. Round survived again. Now we're going to be getting attacked up over here by giant woolly mammoth sheep, as well as flying dragons of elite status. So they're extra scary. It's fine. Extra towers doesn't seem too bad. I'm going to go ahead and pick up another war horn, even if it is more expensive, to boost up the other towers. We could go for the upgrades now. But I do feel like maybe going for the scout towers is pretty great. Extra range and attack speed is solid. Can't go wrong with that. And I'm going to go for another thorn tower over here, again, if they do break through, which gets me some more perks toward warrior as well as mercenary. Good. Another barracks doesn't seem like a bad plan. We'll do that here. What do I want? Probably some melee troops. Some brutes over here wouldn't be bad with the orcs. Necromancers could raise the corpses of fallen allies. Don't think we have enough of those yet. Paladins can heal, too. But I really want a good front line. Let's go ahead and pick up the brutes. And then we'll relocate all of our troops over here. Nothing else for us to do, so let's go ahead and start the next round. Let's get ready to rumble! Skeletons should distract them beautifully. And we're just gonna bob and weave, boys. Just bob and weave. Keep their attention on me as long as we can. Go forth, my orc brutes! Slaughter the woolly sheep mammoths! God, things you just don't think you're ever gonna say in 2024. And that takes care of that. Easy enough. Okay, now things are starting to get a little bit real. 70 sheep on all 3 sides? Yikes! Seems to me like we need to get ourselves more barracks. A lot of them. Let's get ourselves some paladins. And maybe some necromancers for the warlock skills. So now we have a little bit of lifesteal on some units. It's not a lot, but it's something. Get ourselves some more summoning towers, another warhorn tower over here that gets my enchanter bonus up, so we now have a 30% cooldown reduction for our abilities. That's huge. And we're going to go ahead and start what I think is going to be a very unpleasant wave. This is the real test for us. I'm going to mostly try to solo this side of things as much as possible and let my units go and deal with the rest on the other two sides and trust that they know what they're doing. I don't feel a whole lot of confidence to that effect, but, you know, I don't have a lot of options, to be honest. But let's go ahead and relocate over here now. How are we doing? For the most part, my units appear to be dead, but they are doing the job beautifully. Over here, looking kind of okay as well. Yeah, the units are far more effective than I am. Oh, there we go. We survived the round. Well done, everyone! Okay, big scary wave over this direction, huh? That means probably would like to get an upgrade to things like our walls. Alternatively, another upgrade to the HQ to get myself another perk. Doesn't seem like a bad plan. Let's do it. So what do I want? Traps? They're pretty good. Sure, I think slowdown is pretty darn invaluable. That's great. We'll get our final orc perk, or we could go down here. All barracks get extra troops. Not bad. Level 1 towers and barracks don't require an upkeep. Could be good. Gain the ability Burning Gaze. Gaze at the ground and burn them down like the Eye of Sauron. I like that idea. Let's take it. And then we'll get ourselves some additional troops. Let's go for what? The crossbowmen? Sure. Seems good enough to me. And if we build a couple more houses over here, we should be able to get our next human perk. All right, so now I think I do want to go... Well, hang on. I was going to say we want to go for the building up, but now I see that there's some other good stuff here. Towers and walls have more health and take less damage from siege enemies. Get a bunch of spirit. Lots of spirit, actually. Okay. Or if I take class warfare, class bonus tiers are reduced by 1. I think this means the cost of all these tiers go down. If I pick this up, we would probably get the warrior, summoner, and mercenary abilities right off the bat. Seems pretty good. Then again, unwavering courage. Troops that are holding position take 50% less damage and have 20% increased attack speed. Seems pretty great. There's a lot of good choices to go with here. Let's see if class warfare works the way that I think it does. It did! There we go. We actually got 4 upgrades. All right, I'm going to say that that was pretty worth it. All right, I think we're ready. Let's go ahead and start up the wave. I am going to place down a trap right over here to slow things down. Plus, we're going to place down some skeletons and start taking some shots. We're going to soften them up as much as we can before our troops even need to get involved, which is pretty much right now. You guys are free to just go ahead and attack now, by the way. Do whatever you want. Don't even bother holding position. I didn't get the perk. It doesn't matter. Get ourselves more traps. Get ourselves more skeletons. Kite, 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 kite. And there we go. Easy peasy. Oh, now we got a really big wave over here. Now, what else can we do? I'm only going to get 8 spirit per turn, so I can place down basically 2 towers or like 1 barracks every round now. And there's no other way for me to speed that up. So our options would be to go ahead and start upgrading some of these towers now. Or, since we kind of wanted to get some more human perks, we could invest in some of these monuments to get a few extra faction points for every building in range that is the same faction. So over here, spend 10 gold, go ahead and make it for humans. Boom, get 11 additional points. Pretty close to the next perk. Could build a temple over here. Sure, that's worth another couple of spirit per turn. And then let's try building some towers to get the all-seeing eye online. Plus upgrade a couple towers to get me to that 100 threshold I'm looking for. Yeah, that should do the job. All right, do we want to go for building up now? Sure, it'll be a little bit cheaper if we want to continue upgrading the rest of our towers and our barracks. Upgraded barracks get you extra units, by the way. So if you got a lot of gold, it's often worth it. This is all the money I've got at my disposal, though, so we're going to go ahead and start off the next wave. Getting close to the end at this point. Again, a trap would make some sense. Place down some skeletons. Pop into this mode, and then use the all-seeing eye to set a bunch of them on fire. Burn, sheepies, burn! And then hopefully we'll be okay. Oh, they want to destroy some of my houses. I don't appreciate this. Let's see if we can draw their attention away. Get them, brutes! Get them! Stop them from killing my peoples! Summon skeletons and take a few more shots. There were some mammoths. I didn't even notice that. These guys are tanky as heck. But we should be completely fine. Easy. Now we're going to get attacked from 2 different directions over here. That is a lot of ranged units. A lot, dude. Can we get any more upgrades at the HQ? No, this is the best we are going to get. Okay. Well, we'll just go ahead and upgrade a handful of these different towers. And maybe upgrade a barracks or 2 as well. Another orc perk. Okay. Less damage from range attacks seems very pertinent right now. Then again, so does having extra troops. We would get 6 extra soldiers if we did this. I think just being stronger seems like a good idea right now. More survivable against all the range units. And that's kind of all the resources I have to work with, so we're going to have to find a way to make this one work. All right, this is going to be a little bit tough, but it's fine. We've got traps to slow you down, skeletons to give you the spoops. We take a few shots, hop into this mode, and set as many of you on fire as possible. That should weaken them. Then we get in over here, and we try to kill all of them, but I've got a lot of military units over here to help me, so hopefully we'll be okay. Yeah, that's a lot of range units, guys. That's a lot. Too many. Good lord. Why do you have so many billy goats? Or sheeps? Or whatever. I don't know. Almost done here. Take down those mammoths. Only a couple left here. Boom. All right. Is this the last round? If it's not, it's certainly getting close. So let's treat this as if it is the last round. What do we want? More barracks for units. Take some little goblins, move them over here. They do extra damage if attacking from behind, so place them in this position where they can shoot into the group. Makes sense. And then we upgrade about as much as I can afford, which gets me another orc perk. Let's go for the massive army now. This time it should definitely pay off. Another human perk as well, even better. Barracks having a long-range attack. I mean, we got enough of these in a good position. They kind of function like extra turrets, so I like it. I did not upgrade any of my walls, which I might end up regretting, but hopefully it's going to be fine. Do we think we're ready? I think we probably are. All right, let's go ahead and start this off. We'll place down a quick trap over here, then move over this direction, spawn the sheep, use fire to set fire to as many of these little guys as possible, and then pop up over here in order to help a bit more since there's a lot of range units. What did I ever do to all of you sheep? That's what I want to know. Why are you so bloodthirsty? Who hurt you? Honestly, though, I think we're doing completely fine. Aside from these gigantic mammoths, which have ungodly amounts of health, and it's extremely unfair, but it's okay. Yeah, that entire area's been dealt with. Up over here's been dealt with. We're good. Set them on fire. There we go. Flaming mammoth. I bet you can have that for dinner. And take down the last one, and boom. Okay, looking good. Level hath been completed. I don't think that a single building ever formally got destroyed in this particular round, except for maybe the occasional off-wall. We'll see. We do get a really good set of bonuses here, a new record score for me. Unfortunately, not enough to get the maximum of 4 eyeballs for your score. We also did not unlock any particular rewards because I didn't finish any challenges, and this is where these maps can be replayed again and again. For example, if I had invested very heavily in getting Warlock points, that would have been worth some XP. What is XP good for? Well, because this game is kind of a little bit of a roguelike in some ways, we can unlock additional perks for ourselves. For example, walls are going to be cheaper to build and upgrade, towers would do additional damage, the next tower you build is free, blah blah blah. We could also unlock some new heroes, including a human mage, and I guess an orc melee warlock kind of figure? Seems kind of cool. Sure, we'll go ahead and unlock Zagzul, and make it a little bit cheaper to get the same type of tower more than once. That should help. Right now, the demo does have 3 different levels available in it. I've got no idea just how many levels there are going to be by the end of the game when it does release, but you kind of get the idea of how this is going to work. And if you really want to increase that challenge or go for the extra rewards for more XP to unlock new stuff, this is where you would add in different modifiers. For example, making your towers more expensive so you get more score. Your enemies move faster and attack faster, etc. All together, which can get you a cumulative score bonus of 361%. So yeah, that's how you're going to get the 4 eyeballs. And that's a look at Wool at the Gates, everybody. A pretty fun little indie game, very whimsical in its theming. I like the different classes and factions that you have to worry about because it does mean that there is a bit of replayability and different kind of strategies or approaches you could really focus on that get you a totally different set of perks and change up how you play the game. Pretty nice. Again, there is a demo that is available, at least at the time that I'm recording this, for the Steam Next Fest. I don't know if the demo will still be available, but regardless, there will be a link in the description down below if you'd like to learn more about Wool at the Gates. And of course, it'll be coming out in early 2025, so if you want to give it a wish list, that wouldn't be a bad idea. Not a sponsor, just something I'm throwing out there. Thank you all very much for watching. Hope you found this video entertaining and informative in some way. If so, I would ask you to hit that like button, leave a comment, subscribe, make sure you hit that notify bell, and I will see you guys next time. start, you will note... To start... Wow.